Round one.
Ain't
Fight.
it something like that?
I mean, all I remember is Mortal Kombat.
Right.
all
And
I
then what
remember.
was it, Peter? What was it?
It was
Oh boy.
That's what it's about, man. This was about having fun. This was about being able to just kick it, just crash for a minute and just check out something that we all grew up on. So just real quick, Kev, if you will, look at the camera, let everybody know a brief overall thought of how you felt about the movie.
So I think this was the best Mortal Kombat movie yet. Yeah, I think that the rating allowed it to be actually Mortal Kombat. There were lots of things in there for fans of the video games. But I think it also could be enjoyed by people who knew nothing about it for the most part. So I enjoyed watching it.
Peter, same for you. Look right in the camera. Let them know a brief little overall feeling about what you checked out.
It was trash. No.
Ah!
There you go.
Oh, here we go. What'd you think about it?
Okay, so I agree with Kev. This was a better movie than the one in the 90s. I will say that much, right? Okay. It's like a little bit bigger budget, maybe. CGI definitely was on point. My overall, review of the movie or how I feel about it was it could have been better. Could have been better. And what I mean by that is certain characters to me or certain actors to me did not fit the bill. But you should see it. Everybody should see it. You should see it. Make your own comparison.
All right, where's that camera? I felt I guess I'm kind of in between you all. I thought that the script was really, really bland. It's like I know bad when I hear it. And the good part about it was, first and foremost, I appreciated the Asian representation. I'm glad that they were able to get actors that were from many different backgrounds to breathe these characters to life. A lot of characters left me wanting more, but there were 2 or 3, which we'll talk about in a minute, that I thought really shine. And maybe could have used either a little bit more time, or I'm sure that with these sequels that are supposed to be coming, hint, hint, they'll have a chance to do what they intended to do.
Choose your fighter.
So we got a couple of characters right here, and let's maybe start off with the ninjas with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. One thing for me with Sub-Zero was I thought that he was maybe the most fleshed out character in the whole movie. And I appreciated the ice that would grow and would come every time he was around. And of course with Hiroyuki Sanada with the guy who plays Scorpion, he's already got that just no nonsense. He's got that face, you know what I'm saying? And when it came to the raw moments, it was a shame that he was used in the beginning and then snatched out until the end. But when he came back, it was on. Kev, what did you think about either of the ninjas or both of them?
I thought the acting was pretty decent. I would say one of my favorite moments in the movie was the beginning. How it was shot and the tone. I really liked that, and it was a totally different tone for the rest of the movie. So I appreciated that moment that it was there. In terms of character development, I did appreciate how Sub-Zero learned how to do the ice thing without hurting himself eventually.
Yeah,
so that was
exactly.
That was a nice touch. And then of course Scorpion, learning everything that he did learn and getting so much better at his rope thingy and controlling the fire. So that was also a nice touch. It's not that I go to a fighting game movie looking for character development, but it was there. So I appreciated that.
Good point. Peter, what did you think about the ninjas?
Okay, as far as the look, costume, I like the 90s version better because it was more true to the video game.
Yeah, with the colors, with the blue and with the yellow.
Exactly. Even the face masks were spot on. You know, I understand. I mean, you know, everybody maybe is going to have a different take on just an updated version or just a different narrative through their own eyes with the production of the film. But I didn't like Sub-Zero's, and I think we talked about that. His shoulder pads.
His little wings. He had wings.
It felt like just a visual aspect. It felt like he had no neck, and he didn't look fierce as, you know, the previous movie did. But I did like the fighting scenes between them. Like, I mean, like Kev said, Sub-Zero. I mean, the way that they orchestrated the I guess you could say the gathering of the moisture in there to represent, you know, and it grew, you know what I mean, on his hands, and it would grow certain places. The CGI for Sub-Zero was, I will give that up. They did a great job doing that. As far as Scorpion's concerned, that the same deal goes for him too. I did appreciate the actor who played him when he came back as Sub-Zero. When the contacts in, he looked very
right.
Yeah, they represented that. He looked very fierce and evil, I guess you would say, because he came from, you know, he came back from heaven. So
yes,
I do appreciate Sub-Zero overall. I appreciate Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They did a pretty good job with those guys.
Joe Taslim is the guy who plays Sub-Zero, and they said that he's already signed on to do 4 more movies.
Wow.
So looks like we got 5 at least coming out of the whole deal. Cole Young, or as I call Young Cole, or as I call Pinocchio, was a wooden boy who wanted to be a man. What? Man, get Cole out of here, man. When they start with Liu Kang as the main guy, they've done it plenty of times. That's how you want to do your Mortal Kombat movie. And I understand Cole being the eyes of the person who is introduced, but in the past iterations, we didn't need that vessel. We already know the lore. If you're just getting into Mortal Kombat now and you're doing it this way instead of with the game, you're kind of dropping into the middle of a frying pan. So I don't feel that we have to have our hands held with actors as wooden as what's his face that played Pinocchio. What did you think about Cole, Kevin? Let me know what was good with him.
So I agree that, you know, you want to hook me as a fan of Mortal Kombat, bring in the characters from Mortal Kombat. And there have been so many, I wonder why go with a new one? And not only him, but his family. Why is it necessary? There's dozens and dozens of characters, and not just the most famous. So I don't know why they did that. In terms of the acting, so my issue with what happened in this film, I couldn't tell that his family. I didn't know they were his family. I couldn't tell that his wife was his wife. And his daughter. I thought that was his sister. Just
I've heard that
because of how they interacted with each other.
Right.
What was I looking for to prove that he was in love with this woman who don't want to go see him box?
Right.
And this girl's giving him a friendship bracelet. I thought she was just, at first thought she was just a fan, which but then, you know, halfway through the movie, I finally realized, oh, that's his family. That's his wife and his daughter.
Right.
And maybe that's why he was able to find his true power, because his family was threatened for the 3rd time they were threatened. Then he was able to come out with this power that no one's ever heard of, and this suit that no one cares about. So much as I like the movie. Yeah, that character, I don't know why he was there. I don't know what it added. And the acting specifically, there was nothing to hook me. with that, because again, I couldn't tell that they were related to him because he didn't seem to be acting like they were related to him, and they weren't acting like they were related to me either. So yeah, those are my issues with the new character who is also the main character.
I ain't like. So okay. The reason why I didn't like him was because they tried to, I guess, put him in the same bloodline, if I'm not mistaken, as Scorpion. I had a problem with that because I mean, come on, man, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I don't know. I guess they, like I said, there's a different take on the story. And you know, especially in the beginning when they had Scorpion and Sub-Zero, you know, battle it out. And I guess kind of inadvertently sort of kind of, you know, had a beginning, and then like this new cat, which I didn't like him because they didn't need him at all. But
at all.
Yeah, he's supposed to be in his bloodline, and I just didn't appreciate that because of the fact that, once again, I'm basing this off of the original movie. I'm sorry. So in the original movie, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, we know that they're enemies, but they're slaves under Shang Tsung's power. Right. Come on, Scorpion in the video game, he's not anybody that you want to be sharing blood lineage with.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Just for me. Yeah. I don't know. Not him though. He could have been any character, just
family man now.
Right.
You know, and exactly, Kev, he makes the request, take care of the bloodline. Okay, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, it was reaching. We didn't need this character. That's all I'm going to say. We didn't need it.
So next we're gonna go with our military duo. We've got Jax, played by Mehcad Brooks, and we've got Sonya Blade, who I don't know who played her, but I like to call her the exposition queen because she was like what is it, like Google or what's the name of the Alexa, there you go. She was like spouting out every other syllable of what to expect, what's the lore, what's to learn, and everything. And when we get into later, the Akata that you had to learn or you had to earn, bruh. Going on to get at her, Kel. Get at either one of them, Jax or Sonya. I did think Jax was good. I really liked Mehcad Brooks.
Yeah, Jax and Sonya. I would have appreciated some more chemistry between them, since they had this history, they had this backstory. Right. But that kind of didn't happen. I mean, by the time that started, he was already laid up because he, lost his arms.
Right.
So I guess I'm just supposed to take it on faith that they're old war buddies or something, but not too much. I agree that he had all the exposition, which again, I don't know that I'm looking for lots and lots of detailed plot in a fighting game movie.
Right.
And it's a fighting game. What is plot? But well, she was there to provide it. So yeah, there were a couple times where she's talking about, I guess, what you need to know, and then the movie's not happening because she's explaining things. But she's also doing this thing, which it seems like research in movies is like posting things on your wall.
And right, yeah, and that's whether it's a
thing
whether it's a thriller or serial killer or whatever. It's like,
or if you're crazy, you post things on the wall, or if you're trying to find something, you post things on the wall. I guess that's how it's done. But then when there's a fire-breathing beast within your layer that destroys all your wall postings, I'm like, this is why you should have saved it on a computer.
There you go.
Like all these research, all these years of research is ruined.
Right. Like, it's supposed to be up here. Message.
If you had done some decent storage, it wouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Paper, that are now burned because you couldn't keep a beast from another dimension from lighting place on fire. Okay, but whatever. Yeah, I would have appreciated more chemistry between them. Lots and lots of exposition for Sonya. So I was wondering the whole time, why is she in this movie at all when she's just a regular person who has a nation, but she's not the chosen one. But then she finally became the chosen one. She did her finishing move real late.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're going for the fans, you're going to provide finishing moves, and that's to the movie's credit, they provided them. Yes, I'm glad they did that. But yeah, I think could have been a little bit less exposition. But then again, the plot could have been less detailed, and there would not have been a need for so much exposition. And then to my final gripe, it's like you got to do all this explanation because somehow in the Mortal Kombat movie there is no Mortal Kombat. The characters spend half the time talking about we ain't fighting here.
Right.
Wait.
Yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat.
Get to fight.
We're not doing the tournament.
Right.
What is this for? That's beyond Sonya.
But it was like a meet and greet. It was like a meet and greet, you know?
Beyond Sonya, but the problem is you have to explain what's going on here, that all these characters are fighting each other for some reason, because there were 9 fights that well, you just have to take on faith. Well, we had 9 fights. Okay. And we're about to have a 10th fight, but we can't because Raiden can't fight, and Shang Tsung can't fight. So they're going to kill a champion. So there doesn't have to be an Mortal Kombat. And I'm like, you're working against yourself. Yeah. You're telling me all these reasons why there is no Mortal Kombat tournament. Why are you doing that? How has that helped me as a fan of Mortal Kombat to want to go watch the next one when you couldn't give me a tournament on this one?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Jax on this one. I will say that the actor that played him, I believe, executed the character. He was the right guy for the job. I appreciated the fight scene with him and Sub-Zero and how, that was get your arms, disintegrated like that or frozen like that. And,
right.
And then he banished the man and he fell off. You see how he fell off and he hit the rebar from the side?
It was bouncing. Oh my gosh.
Because the camera angle looks down. It's like, oh, he's about to fall. And then it's like right there.
Yeah.
Right on the edge. It was horrible. But
I'm like, yo, they killed him. They killed Jax early.
But I will say I was laughing hysterically at the beginner arms, dude. I was like, come on, son, please.
Sock 'em robots.
Dude, come on, son. Come on. It looked like, I don't know, it looked like a Rector set arms or something, like somebody.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Sonya Blade, any blonde complains on it. I'm sorry. She was just one of the characters I just like, why is she here? Even in the video game, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Seemed like she was better in the first one, in the original one.
But I don't know the actress name.
I don't either. Yeah.
And no disrespect. I mean, it was on some girl power,
Yeah.
She want to do what she do, but I don't know. I just, both actresses that played it, I'm just, they played it a role, and it doesn't really connect with me. But between the two of them, Jax, hands down, he was a very well made and put together character. So
certainly. Right. Next we go to Kano, who I thought may have had some of the best dialogue in the whole movie. Had the funny moments. He was raw when he needed to be. He was like a snob. He was like a bully. Just like he's always been in all of the movies. And I thought that it was interesting how they had him switch sides. And I'm wondering if they're going to come up with some lame thing in a sequel where he was supposed to be undercover now, and then he's going to really come back to the good side, because it's like, no, you stay over there. We good on you over here. Once you go and do that, make that decision following Cabal, all right, we got to catch up with you. What did you think about Kano, Kev?
I think I've been spoiled by the wrong movies sometimes, because his constant, he was, I believe, the comic relief.
Right.
He's the one that takes no one seriously but himself, and he's got nicknames for every character, which reminded me of Tony Stark. Because Tony Stark does that.
Right.
That's his thing.
Immediately.
Yeah, that's his thing, and so that was this guy's thing. So I don't know. I didn't like it coming from him. I think also maybe I was looking for a character to be a little gruffer, but I mean, he was also fun in his thing.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to look like really gruff, like, I don't know, maybe some other actor whose name escapes me. But he didn't look, I guess, gruff enough in the beginning. But then he was more of a prankster, so maybe that's why it was okay. Usually I end up saying when a character gets on my nerves, they're doing a good job. I mean, he got on my nerves. He was supposed to. Fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just reminded me of better characters who are written to be the wise guy. I've seen it done better. So I didn't like it as much, with as much time as he spent cracking jokes and making fun of everybody, as in better films.
Kano was a class clown of the cast. I ain't like him. For one thing, and this is like Kev said, I have to. I know I keep going back, but I have to use the first movie as a basis for this. Mm-hmm. So the first movie, the actor who played him, I think was spot on.
Yeah,
he was brolic. He looked like this character who was a snake in the grass, if you will, who was he was cynical. He was evil dude, and this and he had the eye mask.
Right.
This one did not have it. It just was, his eye became what it was. Laser shot at you. But I did not like it.
And he had the scratches. Now that was cool. And I thought that was going to lead into it, but it didn't.
Right. And it didn't. It didn't.
Yeah.
So I didn't appreciate the actor who played the character. And he got on my nerves a lot. I just,
like Kevin said, yeah.
Yeah, like I literally watched it and I was like, just shut up. I literally said, dude, just shut up. Like, I was done with him. I just was done with him.
They said the same thing eventually. They were like, I think Sonya said, will you just shut up?
Shut up.
Yeah. Which was funny. hey, look.
Everybody's thinking.
Right, which was funny was because when Sonya balled him up in the desert, he got quiet all the way up until he met Liu Kang. Right. So I'm like, so you got to get balled up to be quiet, huh? Because she roughed him up a little bit, and he was just walking back there like, do. But let's go over to Liu Kang and Raiden. Might have been just me. I'll check you all's temperatures on it, but I thought that Liu Kang looked better in the original. I don't think that this young man embody the way that my Liu Kang is supposed to look. And the first time that he said something when he was walking, it was a nice intro when he's walking up and it's got the sun behind him. But he said something when he was coming up, and the way he said it, I was like, that's gonna be his voice. And so, I don't want to nitpick him and everything. So let me just move on past that. Raiden, I dug the eyes with the eye shine. Usually my Raiden is a bit older, and when it comes to Shang Tsung, I'm gonna say that also. So I would have kind of liked to see him maybe with a bit longer hair. I wouldn't have to do the whole Christopher Lambert thing, like in the original one, but just a couple of more, make him a bit more seasoned to be a god and to have all of this wisdom about how things go down. Might be just my preference, but I'm sure in the next one they're gonna have him do his thing, because I need the flying across the screen and I need the fatalities and the whole nine, other than just stabbing.
Fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Kev, what'd you think about Liu Kang or Raiden?
I think they were both underdeveloped.
Okay.
Even though Liu Kang did a lot, he did quite a lot.
Right, which is weird because he did a lot, but he didn't do a lot.
Yeah. So that's enough for Liu Kang. But Raiden, I mean, he spent the entire movie looking disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And he did a couple teleportations. Like, all right, you bothered to have him in there. You bothered to describe the fact that as a god he can't get involved, but then he does anyway.
Yeah.
Whole time, and I guess fine. Yes, because of these characters, they were untested. Cole was brand new, so yes, I understand why you would. That's all that Raiden did, and like, I wanted more from Raiden. If he's going to bother to be in the movie, I wanted more from him than to just think, who are these scrubs? And okay, I'll teleport you because you told me to teleport. I'm like, the god in this situation. But the new character doesn't know anything. Who doesn't even know he doesn't even know his history or his ancestry. It's like, hey, can you teleport people? Oh yeah, I can. Thanks for reminding me. What now?
Right.
You forget that. This is your tournament.
Yeah,
right?
we need you right now. We need some of this lightning. We
Right.
need this electricity.
How are you forgetting these things? How are you letting these things, your core abilities, go unnoticed so this upstart can tell you how to win the game? Like, what led to that? So that may be less of a critique on Raiden as the writing that went behind him, which I guess I did have an issue with.
Goes back to the script, right? Peter, how about yourself with Liu Kang and Raiden?
Okay, so Liu Kang, wrong actor, very too soft spoken. Came off as weak to me. And he just wasn't that guy. And like I said before, Liu Kang is, come on, he's loosely based off of Bruce Lee. So you got to come on.
You got to stick the landing. Stick the landing,
Facts.
Man.
Facts. So it's a no for me on the actor and no for me. Raiden, I love like the eyes, hands down. The visual effects on Raiden were dope. And every time I think, like, especially in this film, every time I saw him with this in the, with the lightning bolts, it always reminds me, or not always, but it reminded me at that moment of Big Trouble in Little China, the 3 wins.
Yeah.
Because it's called 3 wins. But when they would literally grab it, well, he would, the one that was, electrical, would grab it and, pretty much pull it up and ride it. You know what I mean? That was his vibe. So this reminded me of that as well. But you guys are right. I don't know, man. In this film and the one before, the one done in the 90s, Raiden didn't fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just, and he, I guess Raiden, they make Raiden and Shang Tsung like these captains or these,
good point. Yeah.
But he, like Kev said, I mean, how it has to be some type of plot in it. So it's kind of, I can see their dilemma as far as how do you negotiate this as far as a good script and you're writing about a fighting video game. So I'm not gonna nitpick that so much. But so Raiden for me was a pretty good character. Visual effects were there. I appreciated it overall. Liu Kang, no, wrong guy for the job.
Gotcha. Last, as far as the good side is concerned, we're gonna go into Kung Lao with that whole deal, and all I gotta say is from the second that he spun onto the scene and got beside his cousin, like, what? Yeah. He was cool. He even had a chance to do his fatality, even though, we'll talk about that in a little bit. That, it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. And I thought that he kind of got cheated when it came to Shang Tsung, because although you're not going to beat Shang Tsung just being Kung Lao, it was almost like Shang Tsung just turned around and saw him and was like, I'm going to get your soul. Just because he was the closest to him at the time. It's like,
I also feel that Kung Lao was underdeveloped. I feel that the relationship between him and Liu Kang was underdeveloped, because
that's true.
All of a sudden, when Shang Tsung snatches his soul and Raiden teleports him to the void, then I feel Liu Kang, he's sad, but I didn't buy it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And you know that they had a history. If you missed that moment when Kung Lao came on the scene, you missed the subtitles that said, "Hey, you're my cousin." You might not have known that they had any kind of relationship. And then I'm supposed to believe that when you take a soul out, that, oh, I'm so sad. And if Kung Lao's gone, then Earth is lost. Really?
Right. Yeah. Because
I didn't buy that.
Because Liu Kang made it almost seem like he all but worshipped his cousin. I mean, he said,
and I was wondering, where did that come from? Because
he said word for word.
Yeah, that didn't happen
to save y'all.
Yeah, that didn't happen in the movies. So I'm like, where was it established that we need Kung Lao real bad? But the movie isn't even over yet. It's like only 2/3 over, and I'm supposed to believe that you really think it's game over because he's gone. And I didn't even know you all were friends. So I think maybe the relationship between the two of them, which yeah, so us as fans of the game, yeah, we know. But if you want me to believe that, I don't think it came through. And all of a sudden, Liu Kang's all bent over, and I'm like, why are you bent over? You really cared about it that much? I couldn't see that in the rest. I could not see that in the rest of the movie. So why are you crying now?
Right.
So I didn't buy that. I appreciated what Kung Lao did. I mean, he was another one who pulled up on Kano to, tell him that you ain't nothing right now, so stop talking.
Right.
So,
yeah, he was the one that helped him get his laser beam, as he called it.
I mean, only to turn on everybody later. Okay, but okay. He did his fatality, which was like, wow, they ain't playing that. So I appreciated that. But these relationships that you want me to buy into, so that when these characters are emoting, I'm not asking, why are you crying? That I feel was undeveloped. So not so much the actor,
but the emotion behind it.
But his place in the movie, I felt it was not really established to earn this sadness that you want me to feel when he's finally gone.
I agree with Kevin. Watching that character, Kung Lao. Well, let me say this about Kung Lao's character. I thought that, in my opinion, they got the right guy for the job as far as the actor. The visuals, to me, were dope. I mean,
yes, they were.
The movements were there. You know what I mean? The hat. I mean, the way he orchestrated that. He negotiated around his body. You know what I mean? That was dope. That was dope. I do appreciate that and how he looked, the costume and the whole nine. But Kev did say something that I didn't. You're right. I didn't. When he after he died and Shang Tsung took his soul, and it was in that, I guess, the in between dimension, it was just like, oh man, he gone. I was like, okay,
right.
I appreciate it.
How important was he?
Yeah, and then we I don't know if we can get a backstory now that he's gone. I mean, unless Liu Kang. The next movie with Johnny Cage, I don't know. I mean, but there should have been a quick, explanation as to why Liu Kang and Kung Lao are boys or cousins. So, you're right. And I didn't even pay attention to that really until like he did down. I was like, wait. And then he says, when it's in the table, he's here to save you. I'm like, Kung Lao here? Like, I was like, okay. Like,
yeah, like what did I miss?
Exactly. I appreciated the fatality. I thought was dope. And real quick, I'm going to say this: I do not like the characters saying they are flawless. I don't like that.
I was about to mention that.
I don't like that because it seems corny and cliche for the character to say it versus if Shang Tsung said it, I'd have been like, all right, that
it might have been cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because Shang Tsung is just like any other villain. He doesn't really care about his, you know what I mean? His henchmen.
Yeah, right.
He cares about himself and his, total domination within himself. So I'm just like, nah, I don't like characters using, pertaining to the subject matter we're talking about here, Mortal Kombat, and you have, Kung Lao wins or something like that. Somebody else got to say that. Or
the announcer, if there's an actual fight. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But not you, not the fighter.
Right, exactly.
Flawless victory. Flawless victory.
Kano did it too. Kano's like, Kano wins, like, you weirdo.
Yeah, right. Right.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
You got all this effort to make some of these characters grounded. And then out of the blue, he kills this lizard and says Kano wins. What, bruh? I agree with you. I didn't like them calling their attacks. I didn't like them saying what an announcer should be saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Outworld.
So as far as the dark side is concerned, we've got a host of characters. We've got Shang Tsung, we've got Mylena, we've got Rico with the big piece of granite on top of a stick that Jax was rumbling, and we've got Cabal, of course. Shang Tsung wasn't a standout to me. Like I said, he should have been much older. The actor that played him should have himself been much older because he's supposed to have been around for centuries. So I don't want to see this guy with this baby doll face and this big hair, and he's supposed to be the guy that we're scared of. But it was funny when he looked at Raiden and was like, "These are your champions? Kill them." I was like, "Oh, like really? You really looked at all of us and there was no promise or nothing?" But you know, Marlena had her little part. A lot of her stuff was wasted in the trailer. Rico was just somebody to give Jax kind of a bit of an even match as far as physique. And Cabal was a bit funny. I never knew that voice was what Cabal was going to be using. It was almost like a bro, kind of like a, which, I mean, and I watched it twice. So in the rewatch, it seemed a bit better that this is just a guy who had done missions and done things with Kano back in the day. So they had that kind of brotherhood, but he's just a regular old kind of like a bro. So he's talking through the speaker in the thing, and maybe it's not supposed to sound like he's like a demon or all of this, you know. Maybe I expected his voice to be a bit more villainous, and it seemed to be just a bit more you're around the corner dude kind